Alright everybody, welcome back. So now we are here with Demon Hunter. So, Demon Hunter sucks. That's the best way to describe it. Demon Hunter cards this time suck. It's not their fault. It's that a lot of these cards are built around a constructed mindset, and you're just not going to get that in Arena. So, we'll go through the cards that I have here for Demon Hunter. One sec. Alright, first card here. We'll start the commons. Fierce Outsider. 1 mana 2/1 rush, outcast. Your next outcast card costs 1 less. So, it's a borderline 3-star card. It's better Emerald Sky Talon. It can benefit your outcast cards, but you need the outcast cards to have. So, again, just like those 3-star card, not much needs to be said there. Feldori Warband. Is that? Feldori Warband. Deal 4 damage. If your deck has no minions, summon 4/1/1 Illidari with Rush. AKA, deal 4 damage. That's mediocre. That's a 2-star card. Takes me longer to actually type this in than it takes to review the card. Next one, Mark of Scorn. Two mana, draw a card. If it's not a minion, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So, 2 mana, draw a card, bad. So, if you draw a spell or a weapon, then you deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy, which removes it. Good. Like, that brings it out, that brings it into, like, the okay level, 2-star card. Like, the odds that you're going to have a spell or a weapon is going to be really, really, really low. So, I don't think it's going to be that great. Okay, next one, what do we got? We've got Deal with the Devil. 5 mana, summon 2/3/3 Fel Fiends with Lifesteal. If your deck has no minions, summon another. So, summon 2/3/3 Fel Fiends with Lifesteal. Compare that to Silver Moon Guardian, Silver Hand Knight, which is in the meta right now. A little bit better. 4/4 and 2/2 versus 2/3/3s. Lifesteal's a nice bonus, so this solid 3-star card. Okay, next one is Vengeful Walloper. 7/7 rush, costs 1 less for each outcast card you've played this game. Okay, so you need to play. Okay, I rated it too high here. Alright, so you need to play 2 outcast cards to get it as a 5 mana 5/5 rush. On turn 5, is that really something that's going to happen? I don't think so. So I think it's a bad card. I don't think it's a card you want to pick. I think it's like a low 2-star card. I think the amount of outcasts that you get is limited. So for the most part, it's just going to be an understated rush, and you can't even do much with it. All right, next one here. What do we've got? We have got Unleash Fel. 1 mana, deal 1 damage to all enemies. Mana thirst 4 with Lifesteal. So, we had this card before. Basically, Felscream Blast that dealt it to 3 enemies. So, so it's a slightly better Felscream Blast, but really it hits the face. Not much needs to be said here. It's 3-star. Just, again, solid card. Alright. Epics. Wretched Exile. After you play an outcast card, add a random outcast card to your hand. We had this card before in Underbelly Angler. Underbelly Angler could actually activate itself with an Underbelly Angler and chain itself. So, is this better than an Underbelly Angler? Is this better? It's probably around the same, and Underbelly Angler ultimately ended up as a high 2-star card, which is where this ends up, high 2 stars. Alright, next one here, Brutal Nihilin. Taunt Rush, after this minion survives damage, deal that damage to the enemy hero. So a 9/9 Taunt Rush, I mean, that's a better Dig Day, and Dig Day was a good card. Then it also gets the bonus effect of being able to deal a bunch of extra damage. So how much is it going to deal? Like 5, 6, 7? I mean, that's definitely a good chunk of damage in the late game. Like, is it better than Inquisitor? No, but Inquisitor is one of the most broken cards ever printed. So this, ultimately, I'm going to say it's a 5-star card. This is the best Demon Hunter card that they have the entire set. Okay. Finally, last 2 cards here. The Legendary's first one here is Felerin the Forgotten. 4 mana, 3/3. Add a random outcast card to the left and right sides of your hand. They cost 2 less. So 4 mana, 3/3. Generate 2 cards. That's fine. You have outcast cards in an outcast position. That's really good. And they cost 2 less. I mean, again, this is just a really, really good card. This is a 4-star card. Doesn't do anything by itself. There's RNG factors to factor in. There's like the card on your right. You're going to want to have to play that. You may not be able to or may not want to. But anyway, 4 stars. Finally, Soul Eater's Side. Start a game. Consume 3 different minions in your deck. Leave behind souls that discover them. By the way, the reason that all the Cthulhu stuff is here is because there was a thought that this would consume Cthulhu first, and then if you discovered Cthulhu, you would get the Cthulhu body and split. But they had to like specifically hard code it so that Cthulhu broke first. Then the Scythe does this. So it's a 4 mana 4/2 weapon, which is good. That slightly improves your draw. So what happens is you get a soul, and the 3 random minions that are in there, you get to pick which one of those you want. And then the one you pick, that goes into your hand, and then the second soul you get to discover between the 2 minions, and then finally the last minion. So it's a 4/2 weapon that slightly improves your draw in the game. That's really not that great. I mean, you give its value is a 4/2 weapon, so that 4-star card. Yeah, there's not much to talk about with Demon Hunter. The outcast mechanic, I mean, it's decent, but in arena, it's not really going to do that much. And you're going to have minions in your deck, so that mechanic is mediocre. So really, there's not much that brings this together. All right. Next one we're going to do will be Druid. So we take a look at the Druid. 1 second. Let me get this here. Okay. First one here, Nerubian Flyer. 2 mana, 2/3, Battle Cry. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, summon a 2/2. So, you need an undead to die, which means you need something. So you need the undead on board. You need it to die. That's probably not going to happen on turn 2, although there is a possibility for that. So basically, this is just like kind of like a mid to late game tempo 2/2. Is that great? No. Like we have the neutral card that it's basically the same thing except it deals 2 damage. So it's worse. This is a class card that's worse than that, although Druid does get the buffs. But for the most part, like it's just going to be a 3-star card. The other variant, I think I had like a 69 or something. So this is just like a slightly worse version of that. All right. Second card is Lingering Zombie. Lingering Zombie over here. A 1/1/1/1/1/1/1. Death Rattle. Summon a 1/1 disarm zombie with a Death Rattle. Summon a 1/1 zombie. So 7 ones in here. All right. Anyways, it's a super mermaid. So this is great for triggering undead effects. Like you can use this to trigger the where did I put it? The Nerubian Flyer. If your opponent played something to play it off on. And then you're just giving up a ping to get an extra 2/2 out, which is, again, not really that great. I mean, it's a great card. It's probably one of the strongest. Like, would you take this over a Silvermoon Protector, the Paladin, 1/1 with Taunt and Divine Shield? No, you wouldn't. I mean, but this is still a very, very, very good card. It's always going to be around. It's always going to ping. It's always going to be a buff target. So, ultimately, for me, this is a 4-star card. Like, yeah, I'd take this over Zombie Chow pretty easily. All right, Unending Swarm. Where are you? Resurrect all friendly minions that cost 2 or less. Unending Swarm right here. All right. I have this rated very low, but I'm going to make one special case where you probably should take this. Because there is a Druid card. There is a Druid card that came out in Knights of the Frozen Throne. It was initially a 5-mana card, but it is a 6-mana card right now. Spreading Plague. Summon a 1/5 Scarab of Taunt. If your opponent has more minions, cast this again. So basically, you get a bunch of 1/5 taunts on the board, right? So if you have a Spreading Plague, then this become, not this, this becomes really, really, really good. Okay, and in that case, I would take this if I had a Spreading Plague to be a second copy of a Spreading Plague that doesn't depend on your opponent's minions. Plus, I'll summon some random stuff. Like in all other situations, in all other metas, this is going to be complete garbage 1-star card. Again, this moves. Okay, when I say I would take this, I mean I take it as like maybe a Yeti level. Like I would maybe take it as like a 3-star card. But again, for me, this is a 1-star card by itself because you're very rarely going to have enough small stuff, and if you do, it's probably going to be like a bunch of tokens that don't matter. All right. Next one here, Crypt Keeper. You know, I forgot to actually go over kind of like the Druid stuff here. I'll go over it at the end. I just realized it. Crypt Keeper, 8 mana, 4/6 taunt. Costs 1 less for each armor that you have. I was honestly really hoping that Kobolds and Catacombs was going to be one of the sets in here, because like if you don't know, the sets that are here, Naxxramas, Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, Knights of the Frozen Throne, Witchwood, United in Stormwind, and Core. So Kobolds and Catacombs had some really good armor gain for Druid. This set, not so much. So deal with the Crypt Keeper. Actually, one sec. Did they update this? Okay, on their website, they still have not fixed this. So what I mean is this. They have 4 common cards, and one of these common cards should be a rare card. Now, my bet is it's either going to be Crypt Keeper that's going to be rare, or it's going to be the Unending Swarm that's going to be rare. I thought this would have been fixed by now, but it hasn't, so I don't know. But anyways, Crypt Keeper. This is a payoff card for a mechanic that Druid wants to go over. Druid wants, but it's not a mechanic that happens in Arena. And that's basically gain armor. Like, you will gain armor, but will you have 8 armor? Probably not. So, overall, I can't say this is good. I have to say this is like a low 2-star card. There are enough armor gain cards that this might do something, but I think for the most part, like, you need at least 4 armor for this to be good. And I'm not sure you're going to have that much. Alright. Next one here. Chitinous Plating. Gain 4 armor at the start of your next turn. Gain 4 armor. We've seen this card before. It's a heal. Heals suck. This is a 1-star card. Like, even with, like, Unending Swarm, this, no. Or not, even with Crypt Keeper, no. Alright. Beetlemancy. Gain 12 armor or summon 2/3/3 Beetles with Taunt. AKA, summon 2/3/3 Beetles with Taunt. I mean, there are cases where you will gain the armor just because you don't want to die, and that's kind of like an edge case for this. So, still 3-star card. Like that, not much that needs to be said. This is better than the Demon Hunter 3/3s because of the taunt. Wither. Choose a minion. Each friendly undead steals 1 attack and 1 health from it. So, having an undead or maybe 2 undead is okay. I don't think, like, having 2 undead, I think is going to be rare. So, honestly, for the most part, this is a completely worthless card. There are certain decks where this is going to work, and that's the reason I'm keeping it as 1-star. But otherwise, I just think this is not going to work. And this could very well be a 0-star card. I'm just going to say that. This could be a 0-star card, and I'm just giving it too much credit. Underking. Underking right here. 7 mana, 6/6, rush and rush. Battlecry, Death Rattle, gain 6 armor. So 7 mana, 6/6 rush, that's mediocre. But to gain 12 armor, that is actually really, really good. I mean, that I compare it to like a Moarg Forge Fiend, which was an 8 mana, 8/8 Death Rattle, gain 8 armor. So a little bit worse stat-wise, but about the same in terms of armor gain. So overall, this is another 3-star card for Druid. All right. And then finally, legendary. Elder Nerox. Destroy a friendly undead. Your minions gain its attack. I just don't see it working. Like even in constructed, I don't see it working. You really need at least an undead with 3 attack that you've already attacked in to buff the rest of your board. And so yeah, I just don't see it's going to work. To me, it's an understated 5-drop. That to me is like a low 2-star level card. And then finally, last card here, Anubricon. So Anubricon, battle card, gain 8 armor. This turn your minions cost armor instead of mana. So this is a better Kun. So what's Kun? What's Kun? Let's clear. Okay, get rid of this. Wild Kun. Kun the Forgotten King, 10 mana, 7/7. Choose one, gain 10 armor or refresher crystals. So, 10 mana, 7/7, where you can gain armor or refresher crystals. 8 mana, 7/7. Gain armor or spend all your armor, which is basically refresher crystals. So, again, it's a better Kun, except if you have like all those armor gain cards, you can tempo out a massive turn and just like dump your entire hand. So, good, little bit situational there. I don't think it's that like it's 4 stars. It's like it's good, definitely, but we know the power level of Kun, and you can use that as a baseline. It's not going to be that much. So I didn't go over the Druid stuff that much because again, it's kind of like it's weak like Demon Hunter. You've either got the armor package where the idea is the payoff is either a Nubricon or the Crypt Keeper. Like those are the payoff cards for just gaining a bunch of armor. You get tempo stuff out, or you get a bunch of undead and then you buff it with Elder Narix. And like you play Unending Swarm, you resummon the undead, you keep doing things like that. And honestly, I don't see any of that working. All right. Last card here, Hunter. Hunter, on the other hand, I need to talk about, because Hunter, they got some good stuff. So, one of the good things that Hunter got with 2 packages. One is a weird package, but it's a strong package. And the package is the Arcane package, which is basically this. Discover a spell from your deck. If it's Arcane, give it spell damage +1. So the Arcane package basically is like, if you have Arcane spells, they get buffs. 1 second. Hello, HS Repay. Let's go to Wild. Let's go to Hunter. Let's go to Spell School. Let's go to Arcane. So in Wild, we have Arcane Shot and Arcane Shot. Yeah. So literally, Hunter has 1 Arcane spell in their entire Wild collection, which means they've got 3 spells that are arcane that were introduced in this expansion and buffs to those spells. Which, okay, so you can see kind of like how you can see they're trying to push a new mechanic, and they'll do that in the future. It's still now, honestly, the spells they gave, and I'll go over them later. They do have strong bonus effects. They do gain from like this arcane spell damage thing. So you've got like the spells here, like that improved by spell damage, and then you've got the minions here that give arcane spells spell damage +1. So little situational. It's like little like set oriented. If there is a set bonus, then this is actually going to be something that you'll have to pay attention to. But that's it. And then the second one, which is like 2 cards really, but 2 really, really powerful cards, and it's dependent upon your weapons. So we take a look here, and I actually need to look at it here. Okay. So actually, I'm going to go to HS Replay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off Arcane Spell School, and I'm going to do this here, just to show you something. Weapons, and then choose the sets. So the sets, Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Let me double check here. MSG, Naxxramas, MSG, Knights of the Frozen Throne, Witchwood, United in Stormwind. and then core. So, unfortunately for Hunter, these sets here really do not represent the power level. What I'm going to say is this. Candle Shot is an absolutely must pick, because otherwise the stuff here doesn't work. Piranha Launcher is good, but you absolutely 100% take a Candle Shot if you see it early on, because it activates the set. So I'm giving cards scores where I thought it would be higher. And honestly, like, let me see here. Did I get all the right sets? Because I thought Hunter had one more weapon. I'm not sure. Okay, because I thought Hunter had the Rastakan's Rumble 2 damage weapon, the Hunter's Hatchet. For some reason, I thought that was in core or standard or whatever. All right. Anyways, going over the Hunter cards quickly. So first card we got here is Shock Splitter. So 2 mana, 2/2, Battlecry, deal 1 damage. Improved by your hero attacks this game. So every single time you attack, this that card gets better. Honestly, as I said, I have it rated higher because I thought Hunters would have more weapons. But if it's only Candle Shot, then I'm gonna immediately say this is overrated. I have it rated as a like low 4-star card, because the potential for this with like the right amount of weapons is insane. Getting a 2 mana 2/2 that deals like 5 or 6 or 7 damage is not entirely out of the realm of possibility. And even if it just deals 1 damage, it's still about the level of Flame Juggler, give or take. So, but overall, like you can drop this by 10 points. You could say it's a 3-star card. You can drop it by 1 tier. All right, second one I have here, Keen Eye Spotter. So again, this is where I assumed Hunter would have weapons. All right, so 3 mana 3/4. When your hero attacks a minion, set itself to 1. This is why I say take every single Candle Shot, because this basically turns into you win the game. Your opponent cannot play anything because Candle Shot plus this means you win the game. Or like any weapon plus this means you win the game. Problem is, no weapons. So I have it as a 5-star card. I'll say this. It's probably going to perform at a 3-star level because it's a combo with literally 1 card in your entire set. So it is. I'm going to admit these are the scores I had. The scores are too much for this. All right. Now getting into the arcane package here. Sorry, we start off here. Ricochet Shot. Ricochet Shot. This is a better arcane missiles. Honestly, arcane missiles was not that great. Spell power improves it, but I don't think you're necessarily gonna have the spell power. Like spell power makes it deal 3 hits of 2 to random enemy minions. But again, we know what this is. It's a 2-star card. Conjured Arrow. 2 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. Mana thirst 6, draw that many cards. You're not going to be playing card draw until turn 6 anyways. So at turn 6, it's just an arcane intellect for 1 less mana that deals 2 damage. That is absolutely insane. Like you take however many of these you can. And obviously you give it spell damage. Like this becomes great. If you have there's the 3/3, the epic 3/3, where you deal double damage. This will deal 4 damage to a minion, 2 mana, deal 4 damage, draw 4 cards. So you can see how good this is. This is probably going to be the best card in the set for Hunter, because Hunters don't have enough weapons to justify it. But again, really, really good card, 4-star card, one of those cards you must almost always take. Eversong Portal. So Conjured Arrow is much better. Eversong Portal is the reason you play spell damage Hunter. Summon at 1 4/4 links with Rush, improved by spell damage. So if you can buff this with spell damage, or if you have a spell damage minion, then it becomes insane. There's like the 3 mana 2/2 plus 2 spell damage. You play that plus this, you get 3 4/4 rushes on turn 7 plus an extra 2/2. So like overall, the problem is, are you going to get the spell damage? And I'm saying no, basically. Like, it's good, it's okay, it's good. I don't think you're gonna get the spell damage. If you get the spell damage, go a lot higher on this. But as it is, I can't rate it that high. It's 3-star card probably on average. Silver Moon Farstrider. Battlecry. Give all arcane spells in your hand spell damage +1. So this is the reason why you have those spell damage cards. So, I mean, again, this is a good effect, especially if you hit it on any of the 3 spell damage cards we've seen. It's great. This is worth holding off for those cards. But ultimately, what is it? It's a 3-star card. It's like a 2-drop that does something, and that something could be incredibly powerful. All right. Next one we've got is Arcane Quiver. Discover a spell from your deck. If it's arcane, give it spell damage +1. So, if this discovers a... So, here's the issue. It's 2 mana, draw a card. That's not good. So, let's say you give it to the, whatchamacallit, the Conjured Shot. That's 3 mana, deal... That's 2 mana, deal 3 damage, draw 3 cards, but you've already spent 2 mana to draw a card, so it's kind of... It's like breaking even on what the Conjured Shot should be. This is obviously great with the Evermoon Portal. The Eversong Portal. But otherwise, if you don't have arcane spells, or if you drafted 1 or 2 and they're both in, then it's completely worthless. So, where am I on this? I say the upside is enough to put it as 2-star in the right deck. This is insane, but you're probably not going to get the right deck. Scourge Tamer. Actually, I forgot about this card. This is actually the best card in the Hunter set. So, Battlecry, craft a Zombeast. A Zombeast, if you forget, it is you take 2 beasts that cost 5 mana or less, and you combine them into 1 beast. This is a hero power. The hero power version of this is so powerful that the Death Knight Rexar is played in WoW. It's one of the best Death Knights, specifically because of that hero power, because of the abilities of Zombeasts. The ability to like get you're always going to have like some sort of effect on it, and you're always going to have some sort of stats on it, and you can just do so many different things with this that the Zombeast is just like incredibly powerful. So to get a really, really, really good card guaranteed in your hand, I'm saying that's a 5-star card. Like, I think that's how powerful this effect is. Just like this is one of those almost always takes. All right. Legendaries. Hope of Kel'Thas. After your hero attacks, give your minions +1/+1 wherever they are. So, minions on board, minions in hand, minions in your deck. Like, if you have anything on board, you play this, and this is insane. If you have nothing on board, this is, like, bad. That's the problem. Like, that's the problem. If you have nothing on board, this is bad, and that's the only thing that's holding it. It's slow, and it requires you to have board. So, I think it's going to be a 4-star card, a low 4-star card. I think it... As I said, it's good. It's really good, the effect, but I think there's just enough situations where it just doesn't do enough, or it's too anti-tempo that it doesn't get made up. And then finally here, other legendary, Haldron Blightwing. Give all arcane spells in your deck +1. So, again, like you got the arcane spells. If they're in your deck, that's fine, but if they're in your deck, that means they're not in your hand, which means you may never draw them. So, I mean, it's good. It's a decent effect. You're going to have arcane spells from this, but overall, I can't give that much. I think it's 3 stars. So, Hunter, really strong package here. All right, I'm going to stop here. After this, I am going to do Mage, Priest, Paladin, and Rogue, probably. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.